Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
You're now entering the Back in Time podcast.
Oh my goodness! What are you doing? I've never seen so many dead hookers in all my life!
Lord knows I have.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Why you gotta waste my flavor? Damn!
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Here to take you back in time, Kyle, JD, and Jeff.
Here we go. Welcome into another episode of the Back in Time podcast. Episode 263, the September Kickoff Show, joined, as you heard on the intro, by Jeff and JD. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
Hi.
Bro, okay.
Hello.
You guys are bringing a lot of energy. I like it. I like it.
How are
cool.
you, Kyle? I feel like I say this all the time. We neglect you because you are ugly and you need to shave.
That hurts. Well,
episode 263. So to new listeners, Kyle, introduce me and Jeff again because you did a poor job of setting us up, and let us know what we're doing here.
All right, interesting. Well, coming from you about the shaving comment is kind of funny. Second of all, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, not answering. Yeah, I'll give you the best intro I can here. Dickface, how are you tonight?
Oh, fantastic! It's a little smelly up with some schmegel up in there, but whatever.
All right, great. And Jeff, how are you?
Walking on cloud 9.
There we go. Well, we're here to talk a little about September. Obviously, this is the first episode we do to kind of kick things off every month because, quite frankly, we haven't discussed what we're doing. That's the whole point of this episode, is to figure it out, give you guys kind of a backstage pass into how we decide what we're going to cover, when we're going to cover it. But thank you guys for checking us out. If this is your first time listening to us on the podcast, welcome aboard. If you are a longtime listener or still relatively new like Jeff, welcome back. Glad you're here for another
my
week.
first day.
You could have turned. You could have.
Yeah. Oh,
there we go. I was going to say
you
you
my
could have put
damn
in
punchline.
Oh, your punchline! I had a good punchline. You stupid son of
Go
a.
ahead, give yours first.
I'm going to give mine right up to the side of your frame.
If there's a steady paycheck, I'll believe anything you tell me.
There you go. You win.
Okay. So last month was great. I think we finished up really strong with some Nicolas Cage top 5 lists. We finished up with Face Off. So if you guys are listening to this on podcast form, Face Off is now out. You can download it. You can listen to it. If you're listening to this live, Face Off is going to drop tomorrow morning everywhere that you listen to podcasts. So throw us a subscribe and make sure you are following us on the social media. But guys, let's talk about September. Jeff, I'm going to kick it over to you, man. I know we've kind of had a little bit of a discussion going between the three of us about some new ideas for the podcast. And, we certainly haven't decided any episodes, but, I guess fill the audience a little bit in on like some of the things that we've been talking about and some of the ideas that we're kind of kicking around.
Yeah, so first off, thanks very much. Glad to be here again. I would say one of the ideas we are kicking around is shortening the time that we review a movie. Right now, we're pretty much just about an hour. We just kind of want to cut that down a little bit so, our listeners can get the best of both worlds in one episode. A full movie review plus then our afterthoughts, cut down from an hour, maybe down to like 10, 15 minutes to see how well we can do. And that way we can also, throw in some other nuggets or things happening in the entertainment world that day and see where we go from there.
Yeah, and JD, you of course didn't really chime in on any of those ideas as we were throwing them around. How are you feeling about that?
I like that. I've always said we've come a long way since it was a 2-man show and our episodes were 2 hours once a week. Some long ass episodes we used to go through. So I'm all for the shortening, the condensing, and I mean, we have to pass it past the board of Phantom Dark Dave's and his Popcorn Podcast, and hopefully they say it's okay. I saw you had a little Twitter spat with him.
I'm on a hard shun with Dave until I receive a text message that says, "Hey man, sorry, missed your text. How you doing?" Because not only did I text him, I also tried to call him. So I have heard nothing back. So Dave, shun on, as Dwight Schrute would say. And you'll be unshunned and welcome back on the podcast when I get my text. Until then, Dave shall not be mentioned or retweeted.
Okay. I shan't shun you, Dave, because I actually like you.
Oh, that's true.
And Jeff, when you do get to meet Popcorn Dave and his Phantom Cast Darkness, is that what it's called now?
No.
He's a longtime friend, great podcaster, hates videos, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's perfect for a podcast then.
Yes,
that's true.
Great voice too.
That's what he said. He was like, "It's a podcast, not a video podcast." He's like, "Why do we have to do video?" I get it, but we also have a little bit of a YouTube following, so we try the, little bit of both worlds. Can't win them all. Now, the other thing that we talked about through the messaging was just coming up with some like fun ideas. So, Jeff, you have an improv background. I thought that would be kind of fun if we could find a way to incorporate that into episodes, and maybe even going back to like some movies that we love and pulling up a script and like acting it out, doing a little improv. I mean, I guess it's not improv when you're reading dialogue that's already written, but I just thought that'd be kind of a cool idea. I don't know what you guys thought about that because we didn't really discuss it, but that was one of the things that I had kind of thrown out there as well.
Yeah, there is actually an improv long form format where you take a classic novel of sorts and retell the story in your own words. So, you're not too far off with that idea. Again, if we have the basics, of, location and characters and stakes and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
That's cool. JD, how do you feel about a little improv?
Okay. Right? Little fart sound. I mean, I improv'd that. I did not plan that. That was not scripted. Oh my gosh, there it goes again.
Freeze! Agent Michael Scarn. Sorry.
That's exactly what I was. Yes. No. I as you know, audience, and as Kyle definitely knows, I plan 0 for these episodes. I am totally unprepared and pull it all out of my ass. So why the hell not?
So right up improv's alley. So it sounds like it's perfect.
No, let's do it. I love it. No, I actually do. I love it. I think I'm very curious to see, like, even if we bring Feline Machine back for a future episode and have dueling comedy pianos between Jeff and Tom would be an excellent little treat for our audiences. But it's been a while since we've had him on. We haven't had a guest in a while either, have we?
I know. Well, we shunned him as well. Well, I shunned him.
You did.
He's been unshunned and unblocked on Twitter. Got a little political. Anyway, so with the with that being said, I do agree. I think that would be cool to have him on the show. And we haven't had a guest in a while, which brings me to my next point.
Oh shit! Who do you have? Who's waiting?
Nobody's waiting in the wings.
Is it Ben?
Simmer down.
Damn it! I always get so excited.
Nobody's waiting in the wings, but I do have a guest lined up for us. We just need to figure out a date for this guest. He has over 20,000 followers on Instagram. Nice little following. I think this will be really fun because his Twitter or his Instagram handle is David Miniatures, and he does high-end miniature like models of our favorite movies and TV shows. It is phenomenal work. So if you get a chance to get on Instagram, check him out. But he would love to come on the show. and talk a little bit about his process. We can share some photos and videos of how he does it, and kind of pick his brain on how miniature models get made, and kind of his inspiration behind it. He's obviously a big fan of 80s movies because a lot of his miniature stuff right now is like Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and stuff that is definitely right up our alley.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that was a big get. Nobody seems too excited about a guy with 20,000 followers here.
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
Note to self. Jeff just said feel his nipples. Anyway.
Well, and then so I'm going to take it a step further. Kyle, obviously you are the master of miniature. I saw you in the pool recently, so.
Okay. Very well done.
Mine was a reference from basketball.
Yes.
I believe that is also on the list of podcasts that you guys have, or movies that you've covered in the past.
That was weird episode.
It was a weird episode, and mine was in complete reference to the lack of Kyle's manhood.
Yeah.
Well, that one I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys didn't acknowledge mine, so I felt I had to explain it. So.
No, I loved yours, Jeff. That was fantastic.
So right. If you guys call me little bitch 7 or 8 more times, I'm out of here. Right,
fair enough.
Down, Squeak. Little bitch. I think that would be a fun movie to redo because I don't know if you ever went back and listened to that one, Jeff, but that was our one and only watch along. It went terrible.
Oh, okay.
It went horribly. At one point, JD lost signal. I was by myself. I was like, well, so they are playing in the front yard again. Like, it just got awkward as I waited for JD to see if he came back. But I still think that's kind of a cool concept, but I think you got to be in the same room, and then you got to chop it down to, like, you watch the whole thing, and then you chop it down to like 10, 15 minutes. And it's like Kyle, JD, and Jeff rewatch basketball, and it's all like just the best moments, and we just laugh like hyenas. So that's how you do that show. But yeah, in any event, I got a guest lined up. I also want to reach out to Chris Clues. JD, me and you were sent over a little reading material. We have not responded to him. Sorry, Chris, if you're listening to this. Also, shout out, happy birthday today, Chris. I think he turns 32 again this year. I don't know if he's continued the age or not. Doesn't look like it. Looks good. So, Jeff, you haven't met Chris yet. I think you'll love him. He is our 80s guru. This man literally goes around and gives talking, or he goes to like events, gives speeches on how 80s pop culture can teach you about today's workplace.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have wrote the endorsement in his last book. And I can't say too much, but we owe him a couple words for a possible next book, which I think he actually announced already. But
cool.
Just in case he hasn't, we may or may not be in the new book.
Oh, wow.
So we have to include Jeff on that too.
Yeah, so I think we got to forward this email over to Jeff, get some words from him as well, and make sure it says Kyle, JD, and Jeff from the Back in Time podcast.
With 2 Fs. Yep.
With 2. Oh, I was going to do 1, but anyway. So I think we reach out to Chris, see if we can get him on a podcast as well. Maybe we just have him come on to talk about the new book, keep it light. I don't think we have to set too much up with that one because he can just go. If we just give him the mic, he'll just rip an hour and we'll be like, okay, I think we're good.
All right. Sounds like fun.
What are you guys thinking for our new format, our condensed everything you need to know about X movie in 15 minutes or less, or 20 minutes or less, whatever we decide on?
I think it's great. Are you getting at what do we want to cover?
Yeah, what do we want to cover?
Are we having that conversation?
Yeah, because the cool thing about this too is if we want, we can actually go back to some of our older movies that we've already covered because this is totally different. Mm-hmm. So if we wanted to go all the way back to Jurassic Park episode 1 in our archives, Unshun Dave, Reshun, we can do that. If we want to just pick something new and not cover something we've already talked about, then we can keep going down that road. That's definitely open for discussion.
I've got 2 ideas off the bat.
Okay. Lay
Do
them
you
on
want?
me.
Do you
Lay
want
it
them
thick.
both? You want the? Okay.
Whole enchilada.
Oh, this guy's got jalapenos going. All right, let's be honest. It's September. I'm gonna go with my probably lesser exciting suggestion, but Baz Luhrmann's Elvis comes out on HBO Max.
Okay.
Can we do some Romeo and Juliet action?
Who? Boy,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I have not watched that
Romeo
movie
and
in a
Juliet, or
hot
Oh
minute.
yes, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd in there. Come on, Paul
Romeo,
Rudd.
Juliet. My first thought right off the top of my head, I don't love it.
I know. I said
I don't know if
said
it's
it
a
was-
real fun movie to talk about. It's a great movie. I don't know if it's a fun movie.
and the soundtrack, everything. Okay, second one.
Okay.
Let's maybe more realistically. We've done part 1. We've done part 2. Season 5 comes out in September. Do we talk about some Karate Kid part 3?
I'm gonna go ahead and mute him. Jeff, let's ignore JD. Terrible picks. Just terrible picks. Totally put him in the shun. Now, anything, Jeff, do you have, JD, you're unshunned. I don't think that's a terrible idea, actually. I like Karate Kid Part 3. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Bastard.
it would set up the new season, you know, as they brought back Terry. So, you know, not
In a
to
big
spoil
way.
any people who, you know, are not caught up yet, but yeah, so that was interesting to say the least. I'm not against Karate Kid 3, but I actually thought about the boat theme and 2 ideas: boats and schools, because it's September and kids are going back to school. So the first one would be Weekend at Bernie's.
In our archives.
I didn't see that one, but maybe the second one.
Weekend
Okay.
Bernie's 2. We could go that route.
Since we-
I do have a lifeline to the guy that played Bernie, and we
You said
almost
that
got.
last time.
No, he said yes that he would join the show,
Did he really?
and then the pandemic happened, and then we
Shit.
didn't do Weekend at Bernie's 2 for a long time. So I could restart that conversation. We can do Weekend at Bernie's 2 with Bernie Lomax. Fingers crossed.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'd love to hear the guy talk. I don't know that I've ever heard him talk. So
What? Yeah, he was talking the first 10 minutes of the first movie, but yeah,
Doing
he,
some
he had a
coke,
very,
doing
very
some-
New York accent. And talk fast and big numbers.
yeah. That would be a
What-
fun one. I can't remember what year did Weekend at Bernie 2 come out. Is that?
Shit,
90 something.
Let's take a look here. Weekend at Bernie 2, 93.
Boom.
Oh, good choice. Okay. So then again, sticking with the school, since kids are in school, and so I thought going old school could be a possibility.
I
I love that movie.
I
A little
love Old
Frank the
School.
Tank action, a little, Chicago's own, as they call it every time he's in every
Yeah.
single movie. Vince Vaughn.
I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. JD, cover your ears, earmuffs it. That's a fucking great idea. Yeah, I like it.
I thought you were going to
We're
say
going
Back
streaking.
to School.
That Back to School is great too.
Yeah, we
But-
could actually come up with five. I count them 5, or maybe 4 choices for the audience of school-related movies. So my 4 list would be, because I know 4 of them offhand:
Yeah.
Animal House, Back to School, Old School,
Yep.
and Porky's.
God, Porky's is like my favorite movie all time. One of my favorites.
Those would be my
Top
4
10.
choices for school
Mhm.
choices for the audience to vote on. For September.
Oh, have you seen Mike Hunt? Is he around? Mike Hunt? Yeah,
True
let me
story.
check.
True story time. I went to high school with a guy whose name was Mike Rack.
Oh, nice.
Why do they call her Lassie?
Oh man, that would be a
The
fun
lovely,
movie to
the
cover.
lovely and sexy Kim Cattrall.
Yeah, and that'd be a great, like, just, in the sidebars that we could have about the director of Porky's, because I mean, talk about one of the all-time greats, Bob Clark. But on top of that, we could also kind of preview a little bit the upcoming release of oh my gosh, the Christmas movie, Christmas Story,
Christmas
2,
Story 2.
that's getting ready to come out in, I think, November. Is it beginning of November? Off the top of my head.
I just saw
So
2022 and I saw
Max. Yeah.
If they're still around by then.
Right. They better not kid. I swear to God, HBO, you cancel that movie and you're going to, well, I can't do anything about it, but
Yeah.
I will strongly word stuff on Twitter and get warned by them. Most people don't use that type of language. Are you sure you want to post it? Yes.
Yep.
I'm still sure.
Oh, I didn't know Twitter gave you a warning like that. But that's
They
good
do
to know.
now. November 17th, it drops on HBO Max. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be a fun one. Also, looking ahead a little bit, we've never touched Christmas Story. So that could be a fun one for November.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So the 4 movies, I'm going to write them down before I forget because,
Okay.
concussions. Can't remember shit anymore. Anyway, Porky's.
We'll start in release dates. Animal House,
There you go.
Porky's,
Yep.
Back to School, Old School.
Old school. All right, JD, I'm going to let you go first. As our audience is hearing these, or maybe they're just on our Twitter right now, which one would you want them to pick? Convince them. What do you want?
For me, it's easily Back to School. I recently rewatched this movie. It holds every ounce of awesomeness to it. It's got RDJ in it. It's got Rodney Dangerfield. It's got William Zabka in it. And my favorite author, Kurt Vonnegut, is also in it.
Okay. Oh, you step on a duck. Hey, kid, here's $20. Get a haircut. Yeah. No, I think that would be a good pick. I like Back to School. Jeff, what about you?
I mean, I know I started off strong with Old School and through Back to School
Yeah.
and Animal House, but man, oh man, gotta love me some Porky's.
Yes. Thank God.
Not
somebody...
only that, because not only that, we could also kind of go as by far the second one holds up just as good as the first one, and the third and fourth just we won't talk about those. But
yeah, the third one takes a dip, and the fourth one's like, "Whoops, what are we doing, guys?"
yeah. So, but that would be my my votes.
I think my vote would have to be. God damn it! Will you move it, you lard ass? Porky's, for sure. One of the great moments in cinema history, right there, where he tells the fat girl to move it, lard ass. And tries to cover his mouth. Oh, it's fantastic. Peepholes. They're a thing.
Peoples.
Yeah. There's just so many great characters in that movie. So that would be my pick. We got 2 for Porky's. We got 1 for Back to School. But ultimately, it's not up to us, guys. It's up to you. So go over on our Twitter right now. I'm also going to post it up in our Instagram stories. And go in there, vote for the one that you want us to cover. We'll tally them up here at the end of the week. And that's the movie we'll tackle. And then we'll hope to do a couple interviews this month. Maybe we squeeze out a top 5, but I think we got to kind of wait and see what movie gets picked before we decide on a top 5, don't we?
I think that's
so.
fair. Yeah.
Or do we just do a top 5 best movies about going back to school? That could be fun too. Although I feel like Jeff just gave us his list in order.
Yeah. And there's certainly a couple more I can add to that list as well. So Yeah, I would actually probably say, school top five, either school, theme movies, or let's wait and see what the movie is picked, and then we can
Yeah.
pick something from there. That would be my take, since I gave the list of the top five or
I'm
four.
good with that. JD, what do you think?
Yeah, if we do like a top 5 school movies, like I know Kyle's list would be Disturbing Behavior, The Faculty, Scream. It'd just be a nonstop,
Porky's.
You're a Porky's
you literally
baby.
nailed 3 of them right off the bat. That's how predictable I am.
Yeah.
Funny enough I think those movies, they're also in the vault of movies you've reviewed as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I normally get my way, so yeah, if they're my favorites, then
yeah, okay, but
JD's a bit of a pushover. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest though, The Faculty in our archives was actually a fantastic rewatch.
Yes, sure. The
Like
heck was.
ridiculously, couldn't believe how great that movie was.
Okay,
That's good.
I it's held up extremely well. And that is a fun one. If you haven't listened to our episode on that, you can find it right here on YouTube or right on our podcast, any of those platforms. Go back and check that one out. And while you're at it, check out the teaser trailer for it, because I remember the trailer being pretty darn good too, which got us kind of hyped up for the movie.
Oh, fully torqued.
So,
Yeah. Well, and actually, I have to go back because I know the audience was riveting to know after listening, or when they listened to this new podcast for Back in Time. I was questioning JD's and Kyle's thoughts on Super Mario Brothers. So
yes, fill us in. Jeff, you were able to rewatch it.
I was able to
Did
rewatch
JD
it.
turn you?
Well, first off, let me say what a fantastic job you guys did in that episode.
Thank you.
You pointed out a lot of great stuff, between the actors, between the commentary, between the script and shots and language. But when it comes to the end of the day, the movie still sucked balls. I'm sorry. I could not do it. I remember it was just as bad as I remembered when I first watched it and said, what the hell is this crap? And but kudos to both of you for giving A for effort, for trying to convince others that this was a great movie. But that's why I think I was brought on to give my, as I say, honest opinion.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it's not a crowd pleaser, a fan pleaser to the fans of JD and Kyle. But that's what I have to say about that. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. One of the things I remember specifically about that episode is we were going back and I was reading, I think, some of the trivia about the movie, and Dennis Hopper was quoted as saying it was like the worst experience of his career.
Same thing with Bob Hoskins. He said it was the absolute worst movie of his.
Yeah, Bob
career
Hoskins
as well.
and John Leguizamo literally just drank in between days, probably on set as well. I think that's even on there, that they just got drunk and were like, all right, let's roll. But Dennis Hopper was supposed to be there for like 5 weeks or something like that, and he ended up being there for 17. It was just like, what are we doing here? I'm a big Hollywood actor. Has nobody seen Hoosiers? Come on. Not in our archives. Couldn't get that. I tried to get that one at one point. I think it failed on a poll topic.
I was going to say we can always wait till March.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. If I use good, then we bring out some Hoosiers. Or even Purdue. Purdue or IU, if they have a good year, Notre Dame, any of the three.
No. Notre Dame's not on that list.
Easy. Hey, have you seen the clip? I think I retweeted it today of the Pat McAfee show, and the guy did an impression of Lou Holtz, spot on. I watched it 4 times today with tears running down my face because I was laughing so hard.
Mm-hmm.
JD, did you watch it? I know you liked it.
That's me and Jeff both going like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You don't know Lou Holtz?
Oh, I know who Lou Holtz is. I just,
Oh my gosh.
That's why I was
just watch the
waving
clip.
you
It's
back and
so
forth.
funny.
I know Steve Holt.
Yeah.
Steve Holt.
Manti Teo, he's a sweet kid. Oh man, they get into.
I just
Manti
watched
Teo
that
documentary. What'd you think?
I just watched. It was really good. I really feel sorry for him. I mean, there's nothing we could do but just feel sorry for the kid. I mean, yeah, okay, 4 years of not seeing the actual person, but not video. I mean, but again, this was she now identifies as a woman, the person that catfished him, and it was the very first catfish, and no one knew it, and it set off this horrible trend of and even an MTV show, which again still baffles me to this day. But then again, MTV is nothing but TV shows now versus music. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
Confession time. Back in the AOL days, I met a girl on there, and we started talking, having a conversation. I was 15 at the time. And we like exchanged like photos, and then we like actually got on we'd have like hour-long phone calls like every single day, like for like a year. And I got my license, and I drove to go meet her for the first time with my best friend. And we got there, and she was not the girl in the photo. It was so bad. I was like, so where's, I don't even remember her name now. I was like, where's so-and-so? I'm like looking around the room. And lucky we didn't get murdered, let's be honest. And she was like, oh, it's me. And I was like, oh, fuck. And my buddy Justin just goes, it's time to go. We got out, and we sped out of there as fast as we could. So I was telling him, like, I had just watched the documentary, and he like refreshed my brain. He's like, do you remember when we did that? And I was like, yeah, that was crazy. And he was like, I know her name. So we know the girl's name. He's found her on Facebook. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. But I got Manti Teo'd a little bit. Except she was real. She just used a fake photo. And she was a girl, thank God.
Well, did you see under her? I mean,
but I could have ended up like a Wild Bill victim, like somewhere deep down, and he's like, it puts the lotion on its skin. Like, we're lucky we didn't get murdered when we showed up to that house. Like, how dumb do you have to be?
Yeah. Well, you're dumb now, so I can only imagine what you were at 15. But
God,
I mean, let's be honest. This is all your death fantasy. This podcast doesn't exist, Kyle. You're still in the hole. There is no JD. There is no Jeff.
That's interesting.
And I came 250 episodes later.
Right.
He was just talking to you for the first.
I don't exist.
Now I got a new rock that I'm talking to that I named Jeff with one F for a week, and then added a second F. Mom? Wait, does that mean my dad's still alive? Too soon? I don't know. Yeah, it bums me out.
Jeez,
okay.
Man. The fuck?
Things got weird. You brought
Good,
it up. Hey, now we both have dad issues, okay, JD? So
fair enough.
Welcome to the club, to me.
You get a gift basket in the mail. It's got a picture of your dad. You'll never see him again.
Oh, thanks. Well, that was too deep.
I do apologize. I'm sorry.
I know you're joking. Yeah. So I don't even know where to go from this. I really don't.
I don't know either.
We've worked ourselves into a cave.
Just shut up. I know where we go next. Actually, the audience, everyone that's listening, I know there's one of you. We're doing Ghost Dad as the movie of the month for September. And that story discussion over. It's Ghost Dad.
Oh man, that's a movie. That is a thing.
I own it on DVD.
I'd like to stay away from that one for a while.
Well,
I'm not quite ready for
I saw
Ghost
that
Dad.
in the theater, so I'm not gonna steer away.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a pretty good month ahead of us. So we're going to need your guys' help, though. So, again, if you're listening right now, go over to Twitter, go over the Instagram, find the stories, and vote on our new poll topic. top 4 movies about going back to school. We've got Animal House, we've got Porky's, we've got Back to School, and we've got Old School. Help us pick. I don't think we can go wrong. If you guys pick one, we're going to be happy with pretty much every pick on this list. That's the good part. Number 2, obviously don't pick Old School because that was JD's choice. Go with Porky's. Now, to end it, we'll have a couple interviews coming up. Again, I mentioned him earlier, but just to give him another shout out, if you haven't already, follow him on Instagram, David Miniatures. Go over there, check out some of his artwork. If you're looking to get something commissioned, I actually want a piece for my home office. It looks so cool. You got to check those out. So look into that. And if you haven't already, go over to 80s Cinemas, or no, it's not 80s Cinemas. Gosh dang it. What's Chris's handle on Twitter? I always forget. Is it 80s pop culture?
Well, you've got a keyboard in front
Well,
of you.
He's got 2. He has 2. He doesn't have this. It's a different one for Instagram. That's why I struggle. So yeah, if you go over the at 80s pop culture, you can actually pre-order his newest book, which is called Raised on the 80s. And I actually helped him design the cover for that little advertisement there. Pretty cool. And you can actually pre-order his book, which is going to be releasing sometime in the middle of October. And I think if you order now, you save like 15 or 20% off the normal cost of the book. So go check that out. We're going to try and get Chris on the podcast to promote it. And other than that, that's it. Another episode of Back in Time podcast number 263. JD, that's off the front of the rim. That didn't go in. But thanks for listening, guys. And as always, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. See ya.